Hi, my name is Camille Johnson, and I will be presenting to you guys The Silent Killer. So, my paternal grandfather died before I was born. He walked into a Walmart and had a fatal heart attack. Uh, Hypertension, the silent killer, blocked the flow of blood to his heart and eventually led to his death with no signs or symptoms. According to the Center for Disease Control, 1 in 3 individuals are affected with hypertension, and that equates to about 75 million individuals. And out of those 75 million individuals, about 54% of these people actually have their hypertension under control. Hypertension is important to me because I have a lot of family members that are affected by it, and it's a lot more prevalent in individuals of my race. Okay, so today I will be talking to you guys about hypertension and explaining what it is and the risk factors that are associated with it. I will also be talking about the effects that it has and the dangers that are associated with it, as well as how to measure it and also how to manage it. So before I dive into the symptoms and effects of it, I want to first talk about what hypertension is. Okay, so hypertension, more commonly known as high blood pressure, is the sustained force of blood on the artery walls. It's determined by 2 factors. One, the amount of blood pumped by your heart, as well as the resistance to flow. So as you can see in this diagram, normal blood vessels are very dilated and have a lot of room for blood flow. Whereas when you get to hypertension here, there's a lot of narrowing of the artery, which leads to a harder time for the blood to flow and increased pressure. Okay, so according to Mayo Clinic, there are several risk factors associated with hypertension. These risk factors are increased age, African descent, being overweight or obese, family history, stress, tobacco use, alcohol consumption, and high sodium diets. Okay, so now that you know about what hypertension is and the risk factors associated with it, I will now talk about the symptoms and effects of hypertension. Okay, so hypertension is typically asymptomatic. This is why the author Luzanza Conlas refers to hypertension as the silent killer. Individuals may also have headaches, nosebleeds, and shortness of breath, but these are very non-specific sort of symptoms that don't necessarily pinpoint hypertension, so it's not really helpful. Okay, so the dangers of hypertension can be seen in the heart, blood vessels, and brain. So in the heart, it can cause heart attack, heart failure, and metabolic syndrome. In blood vessels, it can weaken the vessels of the kidneys. It can lead to torn vessels in the eyes, as well as an aneurysm, which are bulges in the arterial wall. And in the brain, it can lead to stroke, trouble with memory and comprehension, as well as dementia. Okay, so understanding the dangers and effects of hypertension is important, but the main takeaway of this whole presentation that I want you guys to take out of is, 1, how can you measure your blood pressure, as well as how to manage hypertension. Okay, so according to the American Heart Association, a normal blood pressure is 120/80 millimeters of mercury. An individual is deemed to have hypertension if their systolic blood pressure is above 130 and their diastolic blood pressure is above 80. So with this being said, it is very important and imperative to check your blood pressure on a regular basis because, like I said, there are no symptoms, so you would never really know until it's too late. Okay, so managing hypertension. So according to Marai et al., there are several lifestyle changes that will help manage hypertension. These include eating a heart-healthy low sodium diet, exercising regularly, maintaining a healthy weight, and limiting your alcohol consumption. Okay, so while lifestyle changes are great, sometimes they cannot do the job completely, and so medications can also be used to control hypertension as well. These medications typically either alter the diameter of the blood vessels to dilate them and allow better blood flow, as well as altering the blood volume, which they just decrease the blood volume so the pressure isn't as high. Okay, so I hope that from learning how to monitor your blood pressure and by the different lifestyle changes that you can use, that you will adopt some of these in your lifestyle as well. So I've talked to you guys about what hypertension is, the effects that it has, and how you can manage it. So I will just leave you with one last thought. Will you use the information that I have given you here today to empower you to make changes, positive changes in your lifestyle that will help you either, one, maintain a healthier blood pressure or lower your blood pressure, or will you allow the status quo to continue and let the silent killer keep on silently killing?